welcome to It's Called Life. It's called life, and there's no exceptions. As long as you on this earth, things will begin to happen for you and to you. You'll suffer loss, sickness, problem with your children. So this show is called Life. A lot of times ministers and pastors don't like to talk about the things that happen behind the scene. We always see them in the pulpit, but we don't realize that they have a life outside. They have families, they have other issues in life. So it's always going to be a challenge in life as long as you're living. So this show is called Life. It's the real thing about what pastors and ministers go through on a day-to-day basis. So what we want to do is encourage them. We want to be there for them and be informative and show them what we are doing to succeed in life and balance family and life. So today I am so extremely blessed to have the Adams family, not the one from TV. We're not alert here today, but we do have a family here today that I am so happy to know. They call me Uncle Ken. And I'm just so happy to have them here. We are in the midst of a pandemic, and a lot of pastors and ministers are afraid. They don't know how to navigate through this, what we're faced right now. And the last broadcast, I had Dr. Dollar here to talk about pastoring in the pandemic. So with my lightning brain and fast, I said, hey, it'll be a good idea to have the youth here. It'll be a good idea to not only have the Adams, but have the Carrs here today to talk about what we're doing in youth ministry and how they can effectively minister to the youth. So, and as well as the Carrs with the children. So welcome here today, and we're just so happy to have you a part. I want you to talk about how did you get to be a youth pastor? How did you all get to be? Well, I want the story. So the audience don't know you, they don't know your story. I happen to know it, but they don't know it. So introduce yourself to them and let's get started.
Got you. Ladies first.
Okay. Hi, my name is Constance Adams. I am the wife of this guy right here and also the co-senior youth pastor of World Changers Youth Experience, which is the team ministry for World Changers Church International. And I grew up here. So I started as a 11-year-old in youth ministry, and I literally have not served in any other ministry. Just as I became an adult, I started to serve with the women's ministry, but I have literally not served in any other ministry outside of youth ministry since I was 11. And so yeah, I met this guy in youth ministry. He was
Have mercy.
he was a little drummer boy back in the day, and yeah, so that's kind of where it started. The seed of youth ministry started when I was the teen being ministered to, and so throughout the years, I've just been able to develop my gifts and my talents within the youth ministry. I'm blessed to have a ministry that speaks directly into the ministry gifts of students. And so throughout the years, I've served on the praise team, drama, done devotions, dance, step.
Clean the bathroom.
Anything you can think of, set up the building, break down the building, anything. And that's where I started. That's where my passion for youth ministry started, just being able to participate in that way. And just as we grew up, God saw fit for us to make it to this place. That's my short story. He's got all the drama for you though.
Big Papa.
My name's Anthony Adams. I'm originally from New York, Jamaica, Queens. My mom moved me from New York in 1988, and we came down to Atlanta, Georgia, to Washington Road, and we started going to World Changers. So I started off in children's ministry in Royal Priest, which is the 8 and 9-year-olds, and 10 and 12, I believe, was Warriors of Faith. So came up through the ranks. I believe I got kicked out of children's ministry in Warriors of Faith. Yeah. And that's how I became a drummer in the chapel.
And I actually skipped children's ministry because my father was in the military, and I was coming from a small church to a really large church.
Right.
So I was just like a little in the middle. And plus I was like right on the brink of going to teen ministry.
Right.
So anyway.
So, troubled kid growing up, got in all types of trouble. Like most kids do, just in a Godby Road type of way. If you're in College Park type of way, it's a difference between, a Jonesboro kid and a College Park kid.
There is.
There's a big difference.
I'd be the Jonesboro kid.
She was definitely from Jonesboro. But either way, God saw fit to bring me through all of those things that we went through. Like she said, we met when she was 11. I believe I was 12, 13 years old. Been going to children's ministry, teen ministry, came up through it. Long story short, I was facing life in prison. Ended up beating the charges and started going to Bible school here at the ministry. 2 years after that, I graduated. Started serving in teen ministry, volunteering in 2000 and
maybe 12, 13?
Yeah, 12. Yeah, about 2012, 2013. Ended up becoming operations coordinator, which is pretty much set up, breakdown.
Yep.
But I was over security, cafe, check-in, and all that stuff. So pretty much learning the business side of teen ministry. And in 2013, after I graduated Bible school at World Changers Bible School, go Lions, I was sent to Norcross, our Norcross location, to be the youth pastor. So I literally went from working here at the ministry as operations coordinator for 5 years. And in 2013, as soon as our building was built, I was shipped out to Norcross, and all of the not per diems, but stipends and budgets were taken away. So I had to learn how to make it do what it do from the rooter to the tutor, if you will.
Yes, sir.
And then I ended up having to come back here. And when I came here, I was excelled and promoted to senior youth pastor. So right now, we don't like dictate what they do, but we just make sure that the continuity of the word and the experience is the same at all of our locations as the senior youth pastors of World Changers Church International.
What, when you first came in to youth pastor, what was your biggest challenge versus now in the pandemic?
I would say our biggest challenge at that point, as far as ministry or concerning the kids?
Oh, both.
Concerning the kids, I think the biggest ongoing challenge is their identity. Just with the teen in general, your identity is constantly being challenged. You're constantly being exposed to different distractions that might try to impress different things upon you outside of what you've been taught or what you understand and know. And so the challenge is always to rise above it, and not be afraid to stand out from what seems like the normal thing to what you understand to be, the right thing as a believer. So that was one of the challenges. As far as the ministry is concerned, I wouldn't say there was a challenge only because Anthony, we both grew up in teen ministry. And we both grew up here at the church. And I think understanding everything from how to clean to how to talk to people to how to, cafe, welcome, all the auxiliaries, understanding that and having to serve in each area just gives you a better appreciation when you're interacting with those people. So it's not like we're towering or we're like the bosses, but we are empathizing with the people that actually serve. We understand your position because we were that.
Well, I'll tell you from my perspective, it could have been worse, but it wasn't as smooth as it could have been either when we came. One of the things we had to do was, anytime there's a change in leadership, you got some people who will more married to the person than the ministry, or
Yes,
or
always,
used
always,
to.
yeah.
When change comes, you have people that are accustomed to certain things, and it was that. I wouldn't say it was like seditious or anything like that. None of those are big words we like to use, but it was as far as the students were concerned, they were very performance driven. So one of the things that we made our initial mission was to get them, you're not serving me as the leader, you're serving God. And when you get on that stage, it's not to entertain, it's to minister. So we had to fix that and get the students used to sitting down, hearing word without all of the smoke and mirrors and lights and all that other stuff. And it took a minute, but we got them there where you could ask one of our students a question about, spirit, soul, body, and they're going to answer your question and articulate it as an adult would.
That's true.
So those are some of the main things that we had to address when we got in.
And that was one of the misconceptions about the youth. I've been exposed to a lot of pastors, a lot of ministry, white, black, large ministry, developing churches,
Right.
And the youth department always look at it as an entertainment center.
Right.
And it was more entertainment, so we're gonna keep them to the parents get out of church.
Like
And
we're just wasting time and
Right.
entertaining.
Right.
And
That's
that's not it.
It's not.
Because as a teenager, your issues are real life issues. Even though as an adult you might look at it like, oh, you just having issues with your friends. Girl, keep living. But for them, that's like a real life issue.
Right.
And you have to be able to empower them and enable them to address those issues like you would having challenges paying a bill, or like you would, if somebody, backstab you or whatnot. Like you have to respect their journey and their process. And so we understood that, and so we had to empower them from their position. Like as a young person, we call them the now generation. So like when I was younger, everything was always me aspiring to be like my parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, when I get older, oh, when I get grown. But we're like, no, like you are empowered now. At
prophets,
11,
now preachers. Yeah.
at 12, at 13, you can teach the word with simplicity and understanding. You can, heal the sick. You know what I'm saying? You can lay hands on the sick and they recover. You can see that stuff now. You can, minister in the prophetic. Like all of that.
You don't have to wait till you're your parents' age.
Yes.
You don't have to be with you in the dome with Dr.
Right.
Donald.
No, let's start.
You ain't got to be a certified deacon and bishop and pastor and elder. You don't have to do that. You can just be, Larry in teen ministry, and you can lay hands on your friend. You know what I'm saying? And see the power of God move. And so that's how we've approached them, just not despising their youth.
Right. I'm glad you talk about youth struggling with their identity. And a lot of times parents say, just do what the words say, or they'll say, oh, you're just going through a phase. Or what. But I'm glad you are sensitive to that and you address those issues, because it's just like Anthony and I when we was doing drugs. People just said no. If you just said no, I wouldn't got high so long.
Right. Just say no. What does that mean?
No.
We're out.
No. All the time I said no when I was like, sorry,
When you out. No. Where's the rest
No,
of it?
that's right. Oh my God. I know your guys were gonna be fun.
And we gotta keep it real.
But it is called life.
Yeah.
And we must, address some of the things. Like you were saying, people is more married to the individual and the personality more so than it was the ministry, the word of God.
And it's unfair.
God. And that's life. That's life in the secular world.
Yeah.
So it's over in the church.
Yeah.
So it's for us to make that change and to show them a better way, a more excellent way.
Yeah.
So one of the things I had you guys here today, we're in the midst of, I think I said in the last show, 2 pandemics. We're in the Corona, COVID-19, and we're in the Corona, COVID, Black.
Right.
Black lives do matter.
Yeah.
I said Black lives do matter.
Yes, sir.
And so, we're seeing, the virus take out a lot of people. We're seeing police
Right.
and citizen arrests taking out
Yeah.
young black men.
Yeah.
It don't affect the black woman as much as it does the black man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that if we have enough time. But what are you guys doing now different than you was doing before the pandemic hit? I know y'all doing a lot of social media things, and
Correct.
so how do you stay in touch? What are the tools you're using now? We have a lot of pastors there are looking for answers, so I want to make sure we take time to get to that.
Got you. Well, you definitely, involvement equals commitment. So the more and more a student is involved, the more committed they'll be, especially when the presentation of the involvement and the atmosphere of the involvement is like off the chain and radical. So right now what we did was we created WCYE, World Changes Youth Experience, production company. So in that, like if you go to one of our Sunday service, you'll see credits. You remember how Full House used to come on? The intro.
Family Matters.
Oh yeah, Family Matters, I'm sorry. Family Matters used to come on where they doing something and they go. So we got all of the kids, the ones that are involved. So whoever's doing communion, whoever's doing offering, whoever's doing joke of the day, whoever's doing this is a meal of the week, workout tips, whoever, when they do those things, they're producers. So they'll end up being able to do a lot of the things that the people that are behind the scenes here are doing because they're already doing it on a small level. So our services stream live. One of the tools that we use is Sling Studio. So that's this hub, and we use this link. We put it on top of a camera, and we're able to have a control room, like in a media suite. Like when you go in Dr. Dollar's media suite, you got all these TVs and different things like that. Well, we have that same thing on this iPad.
Okay.
So I can
So
literally.
it's not as expensive as
Right.
a whole control room.
Well, this everything costs about, for the camera, it's going to run you about $3,500. However, if you don't have a camera, I can hook 11 cell phones up to this, just like I can hook 11 cameras up to it. So you use what you got. The system alone costs about $1,800. But even if you don't have that, you have Instagram Live, you have Facebook Live, and you have different tools that you can use to engage the students, but making sure that you're constantly in their face, even if it's just a, hey guys, midday check-in throughout the week.
How do you do that?
You could do that on your social media,
through social
Instagram. A lot of kids aren't on Facebook, but if you want to engage with the parents, you get on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we both have Facebook accounts. But on Instagram, we have a WCYE page, which is World Changers YE on Instagram. And then I use my personal page and Constance use her personal page. And a lot of times we're just posting videos, midday check-in, where it's call and response. So we get their interactions, and they have access to like DM us if they have questions, or DM the ministry if they have questions and different things like that.
Another thing that we do just throughout the week, because like you said, involvement equals commitment, and we just noticed during the pandemic that a lot of the teens were just adjusting to the difference. Like, you know, a lot of them don't go outside really, they be on their phones, but then when you take away the ability to go outside, now all of a sudden everybody wants to get outside.
I can't even go outside. You ain't going
outside, you was on your phone. But that's neither here nor there. So what we've been doing is just trying to help them adjust. Just to the so-called anxiety that tries to, you know, attach itself to them from having to stay neutral in their home. So we've done Zoom calls, so the video conference calls, those have been very effective as well. Just finding ways to kind of create that small group, intimate setting where we can have real conversations. Like you said, this show is called Life. We have those conversations where we can actually discuss real life conversation. What are you going through? For Anthony, he talks to single moms that are raising young men through our Lion's Den video calls. And I talk to the group of ladies, we call it Pretty Girls Rock, where we're just redefining pretty And again, addressing that identity piece where we're talking about being pretty from the inside out. So we want to address all of those character flaws. You know, disrespecting your mama, you know, cussing folks out, and all that stuff. You know, you want to address all of the why.
You said cussing?
Yeah, cussing. Look, come on. Now y'all know y'all be cussing.
They creative with these.
They so creative. The combinations are out of this world.
That was pretty clever how you put that together there, young man. I heard you.
Well, I used to have 66 chapters of the Book of Cuss. I buried it, but a couple times in ministry I've had to dig it up and make a couple copies of some of the pages just for reserve. But you said something I want to follow up on. You talked about developing small groups. So how would I go about, like, I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
Okay.
So how do I go about setting up small groups so we can minister to them?
You start with who you got. You know, the average youth ministry has about 6 to 10% of the main church's population. So if you have 100 people in your main service, then in your youth service,
you can have anywhere from 8 to 10 students in a youth ministry.
Right. So you use them, and those become your the ones that you pour into, your disciples.
Okay.
And then they go out, and then they reach, and then they go out and they reach, and that's how that works. But you start off with the 10 that want to show up. One thing that we've learned during the pandemic is that, teen ministry was known as, that's where you go because they got basketball, they got halftime, they got free cereal bars, and they giving away candy and everything. Literally every Sunday, you have over 100 students that show up because they want to be there. They're not there to see their friends. They can't see them. They're not there for the games. There aren't any. We aren't doing giveaways on Sundays unless I personally cash out somebody. So they're there. So they're there because they want to be, and they want a closer relationship with God. They want to learn more about God. So it kind of helps you disciple better, if you will, because you have to want to. Some kids come because their parents make them come. Some kids don't want to get up there early.
Right.
But even with this, you have the option to go back to the replay.
Yeah.
So, it's been amazing being able to watch these students on live every Sunday. I mean, over 100 students are just on there, and they just tapped in. They asking questions in the chat. And while Constance and I are preaching from our kitchen or from our living room.
Right.
But it's just been an amazing experience, and the kids have been able to really thrive and grow. We've been getting a lot of testimonies, but you start with who you got.
Yeah.
You start with who you got.
So take those 6 to 10. Say, hey, establish a day.
Right.
Hey, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, we're gonna meet for like 45 minutes.
Right.
Don't make it stupid long because young people just don't.
Yeah.
They don't like to be sitting for hours and hours.
Understand how they learn.
That's right.
So, take 45 minutes to just kick it. And, young people don't care what you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to take an opportunity to check in. How you doing? How you feeling? What's going on with you? When they understand, like, you actually care about me, then they'll care about what you have to say.
Correct.
And, even when you're presenting the word, we present the word with simplicity and understanding. We're giving them scripture, but we make it relatable.
Yes,
you're not preaching to the main sanctuary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You are talking to students who need to understand the word of God and how it applies to their teenage life.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to keep that in mind as a youth ministry. That's very important. How you relate the word to their young lives and what that looks like.
Okay. Now, I know you're doing Wednesday and Sunday services.
No.
We're doing only
we just
Sunday.
do Sunday.
And then
we
we
do Lions Den on Thursday nights.
Explain that again one more time.
Lions Den.
I'll make sure everybody in the audience gets it. You know what you're talking about.
Got you.
The audience don't know what you're saying.
So every Sunday we go live on YouTube at World Changes Youth Experience at 10 a.m. Every Sunday. It never stops.
Yes.
Every Thursday we have a Zoom call, and that's from 7. It's supposed to stop at 8:30, but the kids are so hungry, we usually go to about 9 o'clock. And that's just for the young men. So to all single moms that are out there that are raising young kings, there's a village out there for you, and we're here for you. We know that there's no handbook on how to raise a young man, and you didn't ask to be in a position that you're in as a queen, raising a young king, trying to show him how to be a king. So we have a village of kings to be able to be that village for you. And then we have Pretty Girls Rock every Tuesday night from 7 to 8:30, right?
Well, 7 to 8.
Yeah, 7 to 8.
Same concept.
But they do all type of
good.
stuff. They did like a sip and paint.
We did.
They was Constance made some. They had a chef on there and made some.
We was trying to teach these girls how to cook. You know what I'm saying? Because we at home in the kitchen, so we had to learn how to cook.
Man, when I tell you it's the best pasta I ever had her make for me. What?
Yeah, I don't like the way you said that.
Y'all need to come in my office.
We might need an appointment,
come in my
Bishop.
office.
Might need an appointment.
Well, it was needless to say, it was off the chain, y'all. Nakia Forbes, she whipped that thing on
She
together.
did. So we were teaching the girls.
But
thank you.
That's our small groups, and that's how we engage with them. So that's Tuesdays at 7. That's
7.
via Zoom. Thursdays for Lions Den at 7. That's via Zoom, and you can get those links on our social media. You can text Lions Den, one word, to 51555 to get the link. But we like to, if you're a single mom, I'd like to interview you first so I can learn a little bit more about your young king, and that way we can be more effective when we provide a mentor for them.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. One of the questions I had from one of our pastors is, why do you think the pandemic's not real? I'm just reading the question. I'm
gonna tell you, it's real.
Why do you think the pandemic is not real?
The pandemic is real. As believers, we got to be mindful not to get over into extremes.
Yeah.
I believe sometimes we get over into extremes. Us acknowledging that the pandemic is real isn't us saying that God isn't real.
Right. Or that we were defeated by the pandemic.
Right, we're the heel protecting our health. So it's like, we do all the necessary things that we need to do to make sure that our kids are safe, that we're safe, and the people that we come around are safe, and different things like that. So we're just playing our part. Yeah, but it's definitely real.
One other question. What are you doing spiritually but naturally to promote mental wellness for our youth? Because we're living in a time that we've never lived in before.
Yeah.
So
I would say that the communication, staying in communication with the young people is really good. Those conversations where we're checking on them, not trying to preach to them, not trying to read a scripture, but we're actually checking on what's going on with you. That's important.
Okay.
Because it allows them to kind of free those anxious feelings, relieve them so they have somebody to kind of exhale to.
And, I got to say this. When it comes to that, I think sometimes children's ministry pastors and youth pastors and just pastors, period, we get false expectations put on us. As a youth ministry, we're not the steak and potatoes. Right. We're not the dessert. We're like the vitamin, the supplements, like a protein shake. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the parents, it's your job to make sure that we don't live with you. We get your kids on Sundays. We get them when we do the Lions Den and the Pretty Girls Rock. But ultimately, we do our due diligence as far as every morning Dr. Dollar's on at 10 o'clock on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and we're confessing. It starts there.
Yeah.
It starts there. Speak life.
And it is great.
It's
awesome. Great show.
If you don't know about that, you make sure you join Dr. Dollar and Pastor Taffy every morning, 10 a.m. They don't miss it except for Wednesdays because they're doing Wednesday morning services. And you want to catch that too. But we speak life. We speak life. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So we speak life more than we speak the negative things. But as parents, you're in your home and you have to be able to gauge what's going on with your child. We can come in and we can advise from a spiritual standpoint and assist, but we're not the move. We're the assist.
Yeah.
Man, this time has gone by.
Yeah. We could be here all day.
I've really enjoyed you today, but you closed out with life.
Yeah.
You speak the word and it brings life to our every substance and being of our body, and it changes everything.
Absolutely.
So, and it changed children's lives. A lot of times we don't want to speak the word in their life, but we speak the word in their life, we speak the word over them, and we'll watch it come to pass.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so very
Thank
much
you,
for
Uncle
being our
Bishop.
guest today. I mean, my God, I am so proud of you guys and what you're able to accomplish and what you're able to do. It is called life. And today you have it from a different perspective, not from an OG like me, but you got it from, you have it from our youth pastors, married couple who doing ministry together. And I'm just so, I mean, you complement one another so well. And thank y'all again for being here today. I love y'all so very much. I know Dr. Dollar and Pastor Taffy is so proud of you guys. God bless. Thank you.
All right.